Okay, so good morning everyone again, and thank you for joining our webinar on electronic signature in PDF documents for Portugal. I am Andrea Plantada. I'm an SAP financial consultant here at Sothis, and together with Miguel Cruz from Digital Sign, who's the Sales and Marketing Director at Digital Sign, we will be presenting our solution to fulfill this legal requirement in Portugal. So for today's presentation and webinar, these are the topics that we will be covering. To begin with, our colleague Salva will introduce you to who we are as a company. We will continue with the regulatory changes that are affecting Portugal beginning of next year. And we will continue with explaining and showing you what our solution is for this legal requirement, the Sothis Sign solution. After that, Miguel Cruz from Digital Sign will give you an explanation of who they are and what the steps will be to follow in regards to Digital Sign. And lastly, we will go over the Regulatory Change Manager, which is a tool that SAP offers, and we will provide you with our contact information. So, Salva, all yours.
Thank you, Andrea. Bueno, buenos días a todos, ¿vale? Porque me imagino que también la mayoría sois de aquí, por lo que estoy viendo, ¿vale? Bueno, mi nombre es Salva Calvo, estoy en el área de desarrollo de negocio y dando soporte sobre todo a todo lo que son los temas, a los desarrollos fiscales que hacemos desde Nunsis, ¿vale? Ya sabéis que estos días están siendo complicados aquí en Valencia, ¿vale? Debido a lo que habéis visto en las noticias, la verdad está complicando todo, y una de las personas que tenía que asistir a este evento, que es nuestra responsabilidad fiscal, pues por temas de conectividad no puede conectarse. Entonces, pues un poco para dar soporte a Andrea, pues un poco voy a hacer yo la presentación de Nunsis, de lo que es el grupo, aunque muchos yo me imagino que nos conocéis. Pasa, Andrea, si quieres, es muy rápido. Además, que por si acaso, sabéis que Sothis, que es por lo que muchos de vosotros nos conocéis como empresa del área de SAP, pues formamos parte de Nunsis Group desde hace 2 años, ¿vale? Somos un grupo sobre todo a nivel de marcas, Nunsis, Sothis y Nicom son las 3 principales, un poco por lo que la gente nos conoce, pero para que veáis un poco los números ahora del grupo a nivel agregado, pues unos 300 millones de euros de facturación, tenemos 27 oficinas por toda España y sobre todo pues más de 2.700 personas, ¿vale? Esto es lo que nos ha dado un poco un volumen importante para lo que es el grupo. Pasa si quieres, Andrea. Del área de SAP, muchos ya nos conocéis, es decir, somos Gold Partner, somos Service Partner, es decir, tenemos prácticamente muchísimas certificaciones, pero sobre todo por lo que somos también muy conocidos en el mundo SAP y sobre todo con SAP España, es que colaboramos en todas las soluciones legales fiscales que sacan, tanto para España como para otros países. Somos además empresa piloto con laboratorio donde probamos estas soluciones y trabajamos con pilotos, con clientes, para luego poderlas hacerlas extensivas al resto de clientes, ¿vale? Aquí en España, ¿vale? Pasa si quieres, Andrea. Y ya casi te dejo aquí, ¿vale? Sobre todo cualquier cosa que tengáis alguna duda, comentaremos de temas de licenciamiento o lo que sea. Luego, si queréis, lo ponemos con el chat o hacemos una sesión un poco al final, ¿vale? Te dejo, Andrea.
Sí, gracias, Salva. Thank you, Salva. Now we will get into the topic for which we are here today, which are the regulatory changes that are affecting Portugal beginning January 1st, 2025. So what does this legal requirement consist of? From starting on this date, January 1st, 2025, the authenticity and of the origin and the integrity of the content of the documents will become a mandatory requirement. Okay, so the taxpayers will have to use an electronic signature, a qualified electronic seal, or an EDI system. So how or when will this be, this authenticity of the origin and integrity of the content, when will it be considered guaranteed? Well, it'll be considered guaranteed if we are using an electronic signature, or and we're using a qualified electronic seal, or we are using an electronic data interchange system, provided that both the issuer and the recipient have come to an agreement. Okay, so from here, we would like to stand out 3 main ideas, which is the digital signature. So what is this? This is what will allow you to sign the data that has been entered in that invoice in that form. Also, the electronic seal. Why do we need this? We need it because it is what we use to use those digital signatures, and this is where digital sign will come into place. They are trusted service provider, that has been accredited under the European Electronic Identification, Authentication and Trust Service regulation, and they later on they will speak more about it. And last but surely not least, in regards to integrity and authenticity, this digital signature is what will verify the integrity and authenticity of the data and the sender of that information. Okay, so getting into this is an example of what we will have in the system. So we will have an invoice, a PDF form that we would have extracted from SAP. So whenever we would have posted our invoice, and here we would insert that digital signature in the PDF form for this PDF form to be a valid document that will fulfill the Portuguese legal requirements. So how will we fulfill this legal requirement? Well, we have developed our Sothis science solution together with digital sign. And this would be a diagram of what the flow or the procedure to follow will be. So looking at this diagram on the bottom left is where the process would begin. So it would begin whenever a user posts that invoice, either through the SD module or the financial module, either or is fine. And then through the CPI cloud, the CPI, the cloud platform integration, we would be sending that document to digital sign, and and they would be the ones to sign that document, send it back to us and in our system, and we would be able to store it in whatever document management repository we have in our system. Okay, and then after that, once we have that valid PDF document, we would be able to send that invoice to our customers. Okay, this would be the end result of the PDF once we have gone through this process that I have just mentioned. We would have, this would be our PDF, our invoice. And at the top left corner, you would see that the document has been signed, that it is a valid signature, as well as if you look at the right side of the screen, you would also see that it is a valid signature and further details on the signature of that document. Now, we do want to talk about, for us to implement these solutions, there are some prerequisites that the system will have to meet. We have 3 prerequisites, with them being the first one, as I said, we need that cloud platform integration to communicate with digital sign. So you will need to have a BTP account with cloud integration. As mentioned also in the previous slide, the document will have to be stored in a repository. So you will have to have a repository configured for this document management. And last but not least, your invoice will have to be in PDF format. So now that we know our prereqs for our solution, this would be the implementation steps to follow. We've divided it into 4 different steps. The first one being we need that electronic seal. We have to with digital sign. So the first step would be to register a digital sign. They will give you more details in just a minute, and request a certificate to be able to sign those documents. Secondly, we would, once we have that, we would be able to implement the Sothis sign solution in your CPI to be able to do that communication and receive those signatures and the signed PDFs. And once those two steps are completed, we would be able to begin testing. And then finally, when everything working fine, we would move on into the implementation in the production system with the certificate for the production environment. So I'll give it to you or yours, Miguel.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andrea. How is the sound? Listening correctly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hello everybody. Good morning. So, Digital Sign, as Andrea presents us, we are the qualified service provider. Okay. I will ask Andrea to pass the next slide. So, what I believe you know, but what is a qualified service provider? Basically, Digital Sign is under an European regulation that most of you already listened to it because it's very known. It's EIDAS regulation, and basically we are operating not just in Europe but also in Brazil in digital certification services. Basically, all the process that is need to be to make a complete digital transition and a secure one. Digital Sign works not just in deploy some e-seals like we are going to speak, and it's the main goal of this webinar. But also we provide some solutions that can dematerialize other signing of contracts and so on. But basically, our main core is to be a qualified service provider, or we are an European notary, as you can call us, because what we do basically is to validate that the person that is in front of us is the person that says that it is. Okay, it's basically what Digital Sign does, and what we do from Portugal. It's valid in all Europe because, like I said, we are under an European regulation, and the service that we provide is valid around the world and in Europe directly. Okay, Andrea, next slide, please. So what we are speaking here is about e-sealing. Basically, this invoicing, it's to sign the invoice in Portugal. It's under it says 2019 that it's valid, but it's being postponed. But now we believe it's going to be mandatory. So basically, for us to issue an e-seal for a company, we need to make a strong validation process. Okay, so what I'm going to explain is under this partnership that we have, we are going to make a process very seamless. Okay, for you to ask the certificate, because first of all you have to purchase your electronic seal. For that, you just have to follow those steps that are there. Okay, you will send us an email to that email that is there. With me in this call, I have Sandra Machado here, that is going to be she that will take care of you, okay, and take care of your request. And basically, you just have to put those six informations that we need to provide the electronic seal. Basically, you have to say that you are a client from SAP, okay. Then you have to say to us how many invoices do you sign. How many invoices, electronic invoices, you send by year, okay? Your company name, your VAT number, and the contact persons, the name and the email, because we are going to speak with those person that is identified, because we have to do a vetting process, and a strong one that I will explain in the next slide, okay? So for the vetting process, you need to share this information with us. Okay, you need to send some proof of company registration. Okay, we know that there is an access code that you can send us to us, because first of all, Digital Sign needs to prove that that company exists. Okay, we need to have that sure, and we need that documentation at our site. Okay, then you need to send us the email and the mobile phone that is going to be linked to the seal. And why this email and mobile phone? Because this is something that is mandatory when you use an e-seal. That is a second authentication. Okay, and you have to receive an OTP from 60 to 60 days that you need to put on the place that you will understand where, because it's mandatory that you put this OTP, because we need to be sure that the person that is signing, the company that is signing, knows that the company keeps signing. So it's important to have this communication with the client, the email and the mobile phone, for us to do this second authentication. Okay. Then the name of the legal representative that will authorize the issuing of the seal. Okay. We can have more than one person in the company representing the company, but we only need to validate the identity of one of them. Imagine that you have 5 persons that are in the administration board. We just need to validate the identity of one of them, and it's going to be that person that we are going to call, that it's the legal representative that will authorize the issuing of this e-seal. And at the end, a power of attorney, but this will just be requested if it's needed, and if it's needed, you are going to have a contact from our vetting team that will ask you this document. But the first documentation it's needed for us to validate the company, for us to validate the information of the person that is going to validate, and in the end we need to validate that the person is indeed the person that can represent the company. Okay, next slide, please. We have other option that it's not based. We have speaking about the third step that I mentioned, that we need to validate the identity of the person. We need to do it in one of 2 ways. Okay, first we can use the ID check solution. Okay, that we have. And speaking about the past, I said that if you have 5 persons in the board, we just need to validate 1. You have to identify that person, and that person can do this vetting process. Okay, and this option 1, it's basically using an application that we have that we call ID check. Okay, and it's pretty much an application which you will follow, and is going to ask you a few things to do. Okay, it works 24/7. Okay, you can do this process every time, everywhere. But basically, you have to do some steps. That is to take a picture of your ID card from the front and the reverse of the ID card. Okay, you have to take a picture of yourself, a selfie. Okay, and in the end, you have to do that process that is showing the ID card to the camera and asking and answering one of 2 questions that's going to be put in the app. So basically what we are doing here is to validate your ID card. Okay, then we are going to validate that the person that is making that process is the same one that is in the ID card. Okay, and in the end we are going to validate that that person is a live person. We are going to do, as it calls, the liveness process. Okay, only if we have fulfilled these 3 steps, we are able to say that the person is who she is, so he or she is saying that it is, and we can issue the e-seal. Okay, basically this is an option that you can use. You just have to download an application. It's very straightforward. It's very seamless to use this process, and you just need to follow the steps that are going to be presented on this application. It will ask you to say, okay, take the picture of the front of the ID card. Now take a selfie of yourself. Now show me the ID card and answer this question. Okay, it's very seamless. And in the end, if everything is okay, we are going to issue the e-seal and send it to the client for start using it on the software. Okay, this is the option that we prefer. That is the option that most of our clients are using. Okay, because it's very seamless, like I said. And it can be done everywhere, anytime. Okay. The second option is to send enrollment form from Digital Sign signed with qualified signature by the legal representative of the company. This option in Portugal, we have the Chave Mobile Digital. Basically, it's a qualified signature of the individual one. Okay, that is all of the citizens from Portugal have the right to have that certificate, and you can sign using that qualified signature the enrollment form that you will receive as soon as you make a request. Okay, but this is not something that works every day. So basically, we prefer the option one, that is using this ID check process. But of course, if you can receive the documentation, fulfill it, and then digital sign it with your qualified signature if you have it, and then send it to us. Of course, if you are in Spain and you have already a qualified certificate issued by another KTSP that works in Spain, it's valid for us. We can accept it because, and like I said at the beginning, the work that Digital Sign does based on Portugal and Brazil, it's pretty much valid for all European countries. Okay. So this is the two processes that we need to do. One of the two processes that we need to do to validate the identity of that legal representative of the company. Okay. Next slide, Andrea, please. So then to install the electronic seal at SAP, you just need to activate the seal according to the instruction received by Digital Sign. That is very seamless also, and create the authorizer at Digital Sign certificate account. This is something that you need to do as soon as you receive the seal. The instructions are very clear, are very easy to follow. So basically, you just need to activate the seal, and then you need to create the authorizer at Digital Sign certificate account. So basically, these are the two last processes that you need to do to have your ECO ready to sign your invoices. Okay, so basically those are the steps that you need to do. First of all, to send that email saying that you need an ECO. Okay, then you need to send us the documentation that we request to validate that the company exists and so on. After that, we just need to validate the identity of one of the administrators of the company. Okay. In the end, if everything is fulfilled, we are going to give you the seal, and you need to activate it on the software. So basically, those are the steps that needs to be done. These 4 easy steps that need to be done. And for you to know, we have a lot of companies that are already using those seals. Okay, and the process is very seamless and very easy to follow. As soon as you have, just to clarify, because we have some doubts that go for that way, as soon as you have the seal, you don't need to do again that vetting process. Okay, it's that vetting process, the validation process is made just once. Okay, as soon as we validate the identity, the seal is valid. Okay, it's valid at least for 3 years. Okay, if you want to continue using it, of course. But after those 3 years, the process to renew the certificate does not need to do another validation using the ID check or so on. So it's a very seamless process, a very easy process to renew the certificate. So these 4 steps are only made in the first issuing of the seal. After that, there's not need to repeat any of these processes. Okay. So, Andrea, I believe that is from my side. I don't have anything to add. Just to clarify that we are already using a lot of companies are already using the seals. Okay, and you have to be sure that using an seal in your electronic invoices, if in Portugal it's mandatory, but it's not just in Portugal. It's an European directive that all the EU countries are going to start signing the electronic invoices, but the spirit of the law is not to make it mandatory. Okay, the spirit of the law, when they say, okay, you need to guarantee your identity, you need to guarantee that the document, the integrity of the document, so on. It's basically to stop the fraud that existing, not just in Portugal, and I'm sure not just in Spain, but all in the countries. There are a lot of frauds in the invoices. So using an e-seal and signing your invoices are going to contribute to you to lower your costs with the invoices. Of course, that if you use the invoicing paper, it's very expensive comparing with the using of the electronic invoicing, but you are going to have a strong secure to the invoicing process, okay? And that's the spirit of the law. And we are saying to the companies, you shouldn't care to that is mandatory, okay? You should have a certificate. You should sign. You need to sign your invoices because it's the more secure way to do it, okay? Because the frauds are increasing a lot, as you can see, and this is the first step for you to start signing your invoices and to avoid that the fraud keeps growing. So this is just my last insight that I want to give it to you. And now I'm going to pass to Andrea. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel. Lastly, we do want to show you the Regulatory Change Manager, which is a tool provided by SAP. And this is a very useful tool for all of us. As you know, SAP continuously monitors any regulatory change and is in contact with local authorities. So they provide us with this Regulatory Change Manager tool where they update all of this information that they are receiving. So anytime there's a new update, you can always come here to the Regulatory Change Manager and take a look at what the news are. And also you can get quick answers lots of the times. We will send you this presentation where you have useful links for you to test this Regulatory Change Manager out. And there's a demo video on how to use it. There's a Helps Up portal as well. And we do think it can be very useful for all of you attending this webinar. So this was it for today. Thank you all for joining. We will be sending the recording of this webinar, the presentation, and we will also be sending you a questionnaire for you to fill in. We will ask more specific details to analyze your situation individually a bit more carefully. And we leave here contact information. My colleague Maite, you can contact. You can also contact Miguel, even myself, or Salva. So thank you all for joining. I don't know if there's any questions, doubts.
Las preguntas las podéis hacer en castellano, no hay problema. Lo hemos hecho, sobre todo Andrea lo ha hecho en inglés también un poco por Miguel y Sandra, ¿vale? De Portugal, pero bueno, no os preocupéis. Bueno, si no tenéis ninguna pregunta, si queréis, damos un poco por finalizado el webinar y agradeceros a todos la asistencia, ¿vale? Pero un poco lo que ha dicho Andrea, ¿vale? Os haremos llegar la documentación, ¿vale? Y la grabación del webinar para que le interese, porque algunas personas ya nos la han pedido, ¿vale? Porque no van a poder asistir. Y muchísimas gracias por asistir.